Okay, so here we're going to make a resource from scratch. This is the area that I like to use for my title. I don't really like for my students to have to scroll out of the page or out of their 100% view to be able to see the full resource, especially because I work with middle school students and they tend to need a lot of help for things. So here I'm going to put my title. I already changed my font to Oswald, which is a popular one. I made it 18. I centered it, and this tool here also helps you center stuff so that it is lined up vertically, not just centered horizontally, so that's really nice. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these and merge those as well. And here's where I'm going to type my directions to my students that I know they're going to carefully read. You can also change the font on that if you want to. So now what I've been doing a lot lately is giving them questions from a drop-down menu. So you can make that as wide as you want. I'm going to select these three here, and I'm going to create a drop-down menu with these here. I'm going to merge those so that they become one cell. And now we're going to go to data. Here you're going to select data validation, and then you're going to put list of items. Now you're going to type in whatever you want them to see when they select the drop-down menu. So I'm going to put question 1. You have to separate these by commas. Question 2.
Question 3, and so on. I usually do 5 to 10 questions. I'm going to put reject input so that they can't type into the cell.
And I'm just going to save. So now when students select from here, they're going to see question 1,
question 2, question 3, and so on.
But here, this is all they see is how to select their question. Now, what you want is to actually show them the questions. Let's do that now. First, I'm going to create a little cell here, and this is where they're going to see the question. So just so that we can see this a little more clearly, I'm going to make this blue. You can also change the color, and of course you can also put borders around this. So now I want it to be so that if they select question 1, they see question 1 and so on. So now we need to use some coding in this box here. So let me show you how to do that. You're going to need to add a second sheet. So this is our sheet 2. Now somewhere here, I usually like to scroll down so that they can't see it if they're curious. I'm going to start putting my questions. So 1, 2, and then we made 5. So 5 questions. And then here it's going to be the actual question. This is just more for me so that I know where to put in the images. Okay, so now we have to import the pictures of the task cards, let's call it that you want to use. So I made a couple for each subject so that you can see that this can be used for all subjects. So we're going to select the cell where you want it to go. We're going to have to refer to this later. You're going to select insert, image, and you have to select in cell. So now it's going to let you upload. So as you can see, I have my folder where I have my questions located already open so that I can just drag straight into that. And I created these using Canva, which if you aren't already using, you definitely have to. You get a free account as a teacher. So now we're gonna import the rest of the questions. So you've uploaded your images that you want the students to see when they select each question, but now you have to make it so that you are referring to those and that this changes depending on what you have here. So now here we're gonna have to refer to sheet 2. Okay, so we are going to select our question area here, and we have to use some coding now. So you're going to write if this cell here, B7, is equal to, now you need quotation marks, question 1, comma, then what do you want it to do? Well, I want it to show sheet 2, and this is how we refer to sheet 2. We put the sheet name, which is sheet 2 because I haven't changed it, and now we need the cells. So my first image I put in G166. So now it's going to show G166 whenever I select question 1. So if I select question 2, you see it doesn't show anything because I haven't added that yet. So we're going to continue here. Now I'm going to delete this parentheses. Do not close the parentheses, just simply type a comma, and now you start the statement all over again. So the formula again would be if now, open parentheses, cell B7, and as you can see, it doesn't matter if it's lowercase or uppercase. If cell B7 is now, quotation marks, question 2, has to read just as it is when you created the data validation for this little drop down menu. So since I put question space and then the number, I have to type it in just like that, and quotation marks. Now I wanted to say, well, if it's question 2, then show sheet 2, and then again your exclamation point to refer to sheet 2, and then the next image is in G167. So you're going to continue doing that. Remember, don't close the parentheses, just reopen the next statement. Okay, now that you've finished it off, you can simply just type enter and it'll close all those parentheses for you, as you can see. So now this is what's going to get displayed when they select question 2. So now, as you can see, this is not lined up. So again, you can line that up, centered, horizontally and vertically. And if you feel like you want to give them more space, you can resize all of this, and you can resize all of this as well. So now they see different questions when they select a different question number. So this is tiny, so let's make this bigger. So you can just make that bigger and then make this bigger. And as you can see, now everything is nicer to see, bigger fonts. Let's make this bigger. And as you can see, now you can play around with it until it looks nice depending on what you put in there. So this is just inputting the questions. So see my next video so that you can see how they can type in their answers.